Georgia ground and pound wears down TCU's small defense in the second half. Fun one to watch at the Liberty Bowl, with Kirby Smart getting that bowl win to conclude an 8-5 tumultuous season, but get the bowl win and some momentum into 2017. 31-23 over TCU. So it was two contrasting styles, and that's been a theme in this bowl season. We're watching it right now with Stanford and North Carolina. Georgia wanted to run it. That was not successful in the first half. TCU's defensive line was too quick. They got into the gaps. They forced Michelle and Chubb into the backfield and stopped them. They played very aggressively, strong rush defense early, but Georgia's offensive line took control in the second half. All right, first, a big play of the game was Jacob Eason getting out of the pocket, and he was spotty on this game. Actually showed us more running the football than passing, but on this play, flush to his left on the run, showed the tremendous arm strength, getting the ball to Isaiah McKenzie, open field, the one big playmaker on the outside for the Bulldogs, cut loose for 77 yards. That led to a Sony Michel touchdown, 7-0. Isaiah coming back next season for Georgia. All the skilled players, the key contributors, the key impact players, the skill positions for both teams coming back next season. Isaiah McKenzie, 4 catches for $103, 44 for 653, 7 touchdowns on the season. TCU started to move the ball when they got the ball to Kyle Hicks out of the backfield. He finished 15 for 88. He was featured on a few drives that got TCU going. Kenny Hill using his legs, a quarterback that is better running and finding guys on the move than he is standing in the pocket. We saw him misfire a number of times. TCU gets the field goal. They didn't get enough of them, though. They missed too many. It was 7-3. TCU with a strip sack. Type A Galliai with a tremendous play coming off the side and blowing by the left tackle, the reserve Catalina, who transferred from Rhode Island for Georgia. And it looked like this would be an issue with the Bulldogs all day. Offensive line play, as it's been spotty all season. But Hill comes back with a touchdown run. He was a factor, again, running the football as he always is. TCU missed the PAT. It was 9-7. Georgia 4 straight 3-and-outs, and it was pretty much, it looked methodical then. It proved to be effective later, but Georgia would run first down, run second down, then Eason on play action would misfire typically on third down. TCU much more varied, much more creative offensive game planning, at least early in the game, and it was impressive. The most impressive player for TCU in terms of dynamic, game-changing type plays was John Diarse, who made a tremendous catch on the slant play, reaching out, extending, plucking a missile out of the air to get TCU to a 16-7 lead. And then Diarse later in the game, battling the cornerback in the back of the end zone, held onto the football with one hand, got his feet in, both feet, so he's ready for the NFL. And that was another touchdown play for Diarse on the day. Georgia's power running game not quite taking hold in the first half. Nick Chubb, 6 carries for 13 yards. Sony Michel had a little bit more success running the football early. Really, Georgia started to move the ball when Jacob Eason got out of the pocket and he converted some plays. He converted a 3rd and 16 with his legs, but the refs missed the spot. He converted a key 3rd and 8 with his legs. So Jacob Eason showing some speed, not elusiveness, but speed. Sony Michel, when they got him involved, catching the football out of the backfield, that was a mismatch as well. Eason missed some throws. He throws everything like a rocket. He needs to develop some touch and understand where his wide receivers are positioned on the field. He missed his streaking wide receiver that would have been an easy touchdown going down the right sideline, and he did this a number of times. All right, second half with a 16-14 game after, again, Eason converted a 3rd and 13 with his feet, and then Sony Michel also converted in the broken field with some broken field tackling, a 3rd and 13. He gets it down close, and Georgia makes it 16-14. Second half, Eason continues to make plays running the football. Georgia gets close. They get stopped. It's 4th and 8, and Kirby Smart calls the play of the game on the fake punt, converted on a 4th and 8 call, and then the touchdown play on the fake sweep on 3rd and goal from the 6. They fake the sweep and do a nice little play action to Javon Wims for the touchdown, and Georgia took the lead at 21-16. Georgia confused many times on defense, but not enough to make a difference. But on certain drives, they were running all over the place, trying to match TCU's units in regards to packaged units and plays and bringing different personnel onto the field. And Georgia got confused from time to time. But the defense was hitting and keeping up with guys. Most notably, Roquan Smith, the sophomore, was all over the field for Georgia. Trenton Thompson had 3 sacks. He was a factor. And then Nick Chubb got it going in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Second half for Nick, 11 carries for $129. So Georgia looks methodical and looks slow in the first half and looks like the offensive line can't get the push. Then they start to lean on the smallest defense in the second half, and Chubb and Michelle had their way. We mentioned Chubb with $142. Sony Michel, 87 yards on 15 carries. He caught the 2 key passes out of the backfield for 39 yards. 31-23 game. TCU had one last hope. They gained a couple first downs. But then on 4th down, DeAndre Baker, the sophomore out of Miami for Georgia, made a nice pass breakup on the left sideline. Probably should have designed a play for Kenny Hill, run pass option, because that's where he hurt the Georgia defense. Georgia finishes 8-5 after the 31-23 win. TCU with a downer at 6-7 this season. Their big non-conference game in 2017, the return home trip to Arkansas to try to avenge the overtime loss to the Hogs this past September. For Georgia, 2 interesting dates in the non-conference. App State comes to Athens, and then later the trip to Notre Dame to take on the Fighting Irish. Need to hear from you, Georgia fans and TCU fans, on 2016 and the transition to 17 right here on Mark Rogers TV.